Hey there, YouTubers. Brady here. It is Thursday, so the weekend is on the horizon. Packer football is on the horizon. We're going to be talking all about it. A big matchup with the Giants coming up Sunday night. We got to wait till the evening game, but that's okay because Packer football is finally back. This bye week felt like forever. We are going to be doing Circle the Stat today. We're going to talk about the scouting report, and we're going to mention the injury report. I'll just go through that list for you today because there are some significant names for both teams on the list this week. And most of all, we're going to have a lot of fun, some interaction, and a big time shout out to my girl Kelsey Rose out there, who is a cancer survivor. So you're not going to want to miss this. It's a great show, and we'll catch up with you in just a minute on Good Packer Nation Morning. Good Packer Nation morning, everybody. It is Thursday, football night in America. Weekend is on the horizon. And we got Packer football this week, so we've got a lot to talk about. Big matchup coming up with the Giants. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, and we're going to talk about it some more today. So the injury report came out. We'll do a little circle the stat. I'm going to start off with that because I got something that was interesting to me, and we'll do a little bit of a scouting report. But as we get started and I drink my coffee, why don't you get on and let me know who you are and where you're coming at me from, and we will do Packer Nation roll call. I see Austin is here and he says, hey, that's cool. Trent, good morning, Trent. I hope you're doing well today. Sean is here. Hey, buddy. I just saw a post of something you were eating on Facebook, dude. So, yes, it is coffee time. All right. DM is here again. Win Davis, good deal. Terry Haney is back. Vince and Nikki, good to see you guys. Vince is coming at us from Indianapolis. Awesome. Yeah, great to see you. Teddy is here, and we got another Placerville, California. We got Packer Nation's locking it down in California. Yolanda from Nova Scotia. Awesome. Brent is here. Tim is here. I don't know if it was Brent or Brett, so forgive me if I said that wrong. Pat and Jackie, Charles and Tom are all in the house. We got Chris, Jamie, and Peter Vargas is back. All right. He's got the green and gold hearts, which are always good to see. And it's always good to see next to football because we finally got football back, right? Rob is here. All right, guys. Well, yeah, it's Thursday. So the weekend, hump day is in the rearview mirror now. The weekend is right on the horizon, and there's a football game tonight. Packers are no longer on the bye week, so we don't have to sit on our hands. Hey there, James. Hey, Ricky, Chris, Brent. I think from California again, man. California is locking it down out there. Way to go, guys. We got Nikki saying, go Cali, way to represent. Absolutely. Man, Packer Nation represented all over the globe. I have been missing some of our Scandinavian friends out there. We had some people from Norway, I think, and Sweden, I believe, and haven't seen them around for a while. So, Browen is here, Tim and Hector, Judy from Elkhorn, Wisconsin. Awesome. I lived in Eau Claire for a while there, Judy, so good to see you as well because Wisconsin has to represent when it comes to the Packers. I mean, come on. All right. Well, I had a stat jump out at me, guys, that I just wanted to talk about to start off this show for a minute. Now, when I do circle the stat from time to time, and that means, Coach McCarthy said it this week. He has always said, stats are for losers. This week, he said stats are a starting point. Also this week, he said this, and this is the point. He said, you have to get inside the stats. Let's see, I want to do the actual quote. Yeah, you have to look inside the statistics. And I think he's kind of mirroring the same technique. When you see something that jumps out at you, that's what draws your attention, and now you break it down. One of the things I want to mention about the Giants game against the Vikings, which is, again, a very good touchstone game for us to sort of compare ourselves to. Obviously, right now in the division, we are still looking up to the Minnesota Vikings. We have the loss head-to-head against them at their home at US Bank. But then we're playing the Giants this week, six-day spread, and we get to play the Giants too, so we get to match ourselves up against the Vikings in a sense. Now, and this is a game where I would love to see us break 30 and keep the Giants to that barely double-digit score. That would, I think, speak very well for the Green Bay Packers right now. But listen to this, guys. 2 minutes into the second quarter of the Vikings game, the Giants had 4 punts by that time, all right? Now, let's look inside that statistic, right? Isn't one of the problems that the Packers have had thus far time of possession, if we can force punts the way the Vikings force punts, and again, we match up fairly well in terms of the strength of our defense, we know the Giants are going to struggle to run against the Green Bay Packers. Getting Guy on back especially. If we can, and this goes to one of my keys to the game in the scouting report, if we can get out there and we can force punts early, Eli Manning, when he has a clean pocket, he has a good wide receiving core around him, and he can do some pretty impressive things. I watched this game. But if we can break down the pocket, we don't want a clean pocket, and we've got guys like Clay Matthews, guys like Julius Peppers, Dayton Jones hopefully back, guys like Nick Perry, who make pockets anything but clean for Eli Manning, and we can force these guys to punt. We want to gain possession. We want to win the time of possession, and obviously forcing 3 and outs is a great way to do it. We took a little bit of a step back in our third down defense against the Detroit Lions, but again, that's inside the stats. We have been a very good third down defense. We have had to face a lot of fourth downs. So this Packer defense right now, if we can force these 3 and outs, force the punts, we're going to gain some field position. And of course, we know we're getting Jeff Janis back, which is a big boost. Well, we're not getting Jeff Janis back. We're getting the whole Jeff Janis back. Jeff Janis with both hands coming back to play this Sunday night. So Bryce says Eli is panicking, and that's exactly right. But there were times, and this is interesting, again, it goes to the scouting report, that the freaking Giants offensive line was able to yield a very clean pocket for Eli Manning, and those were the times he was actually extremely successful and accurate. Add to that the fact that the Giants' game plan was to throw short passes, quick inside slants, and it was what they couldn't do is stack successes. But the Packers need to win the time of possession, and a big way to do that is for this defense to get out there and make a statement early, force these 3 and outs, and win time of possession and also the field position battle in this game. Going to be extremely important. Packers, I think, have the edge, especially because we're going to be playing this one at home. The crowd is going to be loud. The defense is going to be amped up for this one. And we got Brent out there saying, Janis, yeah, it's going to be good to see him back. I hope he can be as good as he was last year, because he was fantastic. I don't think I've seen a special teams coverage player like Jeff Janis in a long time. We had Jarrett Bush for a long time, who really made his nut as a special teamer. And then he actually developed as a cornerback. He was a liability as a cornerback for a couple years there. But he made his nut as a special teamer, and Jeff Janis is doing some things I haven't seen before. So I can't wait to see him get out on the field. But that is my circle the stat for the day, is force 3 and outs. If the Vikings could do it, we can do it. Of course, the question mark that all of Packer Nation has when we talk about these 3 and outs, these third down plays, is how is our defensive backfield going to do? Are we going to take a step forward? And that goes to a question that one of our, I forget who it was, but somebody mentioned and asked this question, I think, yesterday. And that question is, will Demarius Randall bounce back? And he was asking, you think Demarius Randall will bounce back? And I think the answer is yes. You don't make it as a cornerback in this league if you can't bounce back. And he's not the kind of guy who's just going to take this kind of thing sitting down. It was mentioned in a post that he has this finger issue, and so it made it harder for him in like bump and run coverage or when he had to play up and on. I am not buying that for a second. If you play corner in the NFL, that means if you play corner, and maybe Ross James, if you're on there, buddy, you can speak to this. I don't care if your finger is broken. If you are on the field as a high schooler, you play. I can see if maybe Demarius Randall doesn't make an interception that he would normally make because he's got a finger issue. But a finger issue? Really? But at any rate, he's had a bye week to get healthy. I expect him to bounce back. The question here is, I said yesterday, I truly think Ladarius Gunter is having a better year. I think Ladarius Gunter has some skill set that almost makes him one of these guys that can follow around a receiver and man up. I'm not sure he's there yet. But the big question then is, who's going to be covering OBJ out there on the field? And I think we're just gonna play our sets, and so we're gonna get different matchups. I think is what's gonna happen, so we'll see what happens with that. But I do think Demarius Randall will bounce back. Demarius Randall said he would bounce back. He said, "I'm gonna make a lot of plays," and I would hold him to that. Is what I would do. And you can thumbs up right now if offense and defense. To be quite honest, this game is kind of a show me game. I think for a lot of people in Packer Nation, this is one of those where we want to show that we can be dominant. And you can thumbs up me if you agree right now, or heart, whatever it is. If you agree that to some extent in your mind, you've got a few questions left, and this Giants game becomes a show me game. Not only for the defense, not only for Demarius Randall, but also for the Packers offense that now has an Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy was pounding the rock in the second half of the game against the Detroit Lions. We weren't able to complete those drives or put hardly any points back on the board, just 3 points. The defensive side of the ball, we have been playing dominant football against the run, but we have had these shot plays. These 20-plussers have been killing us. And every team that comes along, we have not had an answer for their number one receiver. And we got Odell Beckham, as I call him. I don't know anymore. I call him Odell Beckham. Feed seems to be breaking up a little bit. I did a little work on it. It should be better today. I don't know what's going on, but our defense, the one sort of shot we got to take at our defense is, listen, guys, you can't keep giving up these 20-plus plays. You're good in a lot of areas, but we've got to take care of this. Our defensive backfield is deep, but has become the question mark moving forward. This is a great game to show it, to prove it, that you have something. Now, we know that the way we play so much nickel, we play so much squared up to the line of scrimmage, that the teams are going, the middle is going to be open to some extent. We're going to see teams make these short passes. This is the way Dom Capers plays. But what we don't want is to be gashed by tight ends and to be gashed down the sidelines and to have these 20-plus plays all the time. If we can keep it in front of us, that's fine. Make a good tackle. We've been tackling better since the Jacksonville game. But this is a show-me game for a lot of people in Packer Nation right now. So, all right, so what are the keys to this game then? We talked about one of them. Forcing these 3 and outs. If our defense can continue to be dominant on third down, I don't think that the Giants get into the situation that the Packers defense has seen, where a lot of teams have been playing four down ball for several series, and the Giants don't get to that point. If we play our third down defense the way we have been through the early parts of the season. Number 2, like we mentioned, don't give Eli Manning a clean pocket. That's the last thing we want, because I tell you what, it doesn't matter how good your wide receiver core is, or how bad they are for that matter. If you give a clean pocket to any quarterback in this league, he's going to be able to distribute the ball. If you keep bringing pressure and you bring it fast and you bring it often, teams will, any quarterback in the league, no matter how good they are, will then struggle with it. So we do not want to give Eli Manning a clean pocket with, Victor Cruz, Sterling Shepard, and of course OBJ out there just getting ready to catch those passes. And we know the Giants showed in the Vikings game that they are ready to move the ball, to matriculate the ball down the field. They're ready to play this West Coast style, to throw quickly to those slants and take the shot plays when they come and the coverage looks and they get a look that they like. Again, against the Vikings, there should have been another touchdown on the board for the Giants had not OBJ run the wrong route and pursued nothing but contact against Xavier Rhodes in that play. So they know how to take their shot plays at the right time. McAdoo's got this team kind of primed. The problem with the Giants is their injury situation, and they can't get a running back to stay on the field for more than one game. Their wide receiver core is something to be, they're nobody to be trifled with. We have got to be very careful. Great time for a show me game, but we do not want Eli Manning to have a clean pocket in this game. You keep an eye out. When he has a clean pocket, we are going to struggle on defense. Number 2, we need to get off to a fast start. The Vikings were able to do this against the Giants, and we need to be able to do this as well. We saw this happen. We finally got off to a fast start against the Detroit Lions, and look at how we scored. Even the stumble in the second half of the game against Detroit, we were still able to maintain and walk through to a win, close it out with the defense, close it out with an extended victory formation offensive drive on the field, one in which we had no interest in scoring anymore, but if we can get a fast start, we haven't talked a lot about this. McCarthy hasn't talked a lot about this. Last year they talked about a fast start to the season. This year we need to get to the point where we have fast starts in games, because last year early on we were scoring points in every single first quarter, and we need to get back to that. We want to see, if you watch this team, if Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers walk down the field and can score on the very first time they get an offensive drive, this is going to be a dominant win, I think, for the Green Bay Packers right now. So fast start, I think, is extremely important. The Vikings had that going for them, and it really worked for them down the stretch, even when the Giants were having some success. Of course, we talked about the running game. We saw against the Detroit Lions, Eddie Lacy get handed the ball 4 times in a row. I know that's just a stat again, but you look inside that stat and you look at how we were able, our offensive line is loving blocking, run blocking for Eddie Lacy. We talked about this yesterday. And of course, we want to not just establish the run, but then pound the ball down the Giants' throat late in the game when the last thing they want is for us to run time off the clock. We want Eddie Lacy to show his dominance, and he does get better as games wear on. And of course, we know how important he's going to be come December at Lambeau. We need to not only establish, but stick with the running game. And I once again will say, I have nothing against James Starks going on the field to spell Eddie Lacy, but spell Eddie Lacy and then put him back on the field, for crying out loud. Bryce says, I'm going to freak if McCarthy calls run on the first 2 plays. Okay, all right. If we establish the run early and run the ball out at the end of the game, I will not freak. I don't think anybody's going to freak if we call a run the first 2 plays and we get 7 yards on the first play and 6 on the second. I don't think many people in Packer Nation are going to freak if we call runs on the first 2 plays of the game. And that's what we've seen, this zone scheme that we're running. And if you didn't get a chance to see Ross James, we called it going to the board with the coach. Ross James breaks down one of the inside zone plays that Eddie Lacy ran. Go to greenbaypackernation.com. You got to check it out. He just does a screencast. He goes right to the whiteboard. He does the X's and O's and explains how that inside zone is supposed to work and why it was successful in that particular instance. And if we see this kind of success, I will not be complaining one bit if the first 2 plays are a run. I do not want us to. Obviously, if we fail in those, everybody's gonna be freaking out as well. Brent's asking about the Precious. So here it is. It's always with me. I just always forget to put it on. DM said he saw it and loved it. I think you then talking about that post. Guys, if you missed it, that's my highlight. That's my highlight this week. I love watching Ross James break it down, and thank you so much, Ross, for doing that if you're out there. All right, so yeah, we definitely want to establish and then be able to pound the ball. Of course, we know we want to balance. We want to have a balanced offense. We've got too many weapons in the passing game to not be, and we've got Aaron Rodgers, for crying out loud. We've got too many weapons and Aaron Rodgers to not throw the ball. But this is another one for me. This is a key to the game. When the passing game comes along, thumbs up or give me a heart or something. Just show me if you agree with this. Guys and Mike McCarthy, can we continue to work the middle of the field? I know it's more dangerous, but can we continue to work the middle of the field? We saw so much success. I'm begging you. I'm begging you with coffee in hand, cold coffee in hand. Can continue to work the middle of the field. The shot plays will come if we work the middle of the field. And the Giants are going to go too high. When they do, please, let's work the middle of the field. Richard Rodgers is capable. We know Cook's not going to be on the field. We understand that. But Richard Rodgers is capable. Justin Perillo, every time Justin Perillo gets on the field, he does something good. Please, can we continue to work the middle of the field and the seams? in this game against the Giants. I'm begging you. It's not a mic drop. It's just I'm flat out begging right now because I loved what I saw against Detroit, and this is what we've been looking for a long time, and I expect to see hopefully more of it in this game against the Giants. If we do, I expect us to, once again, this is a key to having a dominant, not just a win I'm talking about a dominant win, a statement game. The Packers right now need a statement game, I think. You know, we had the loss to the Vikings. That would have been an absolute statement game, obviously. We lost by 3 points. But we need one now. We've got this run. We're at Lambeau all the way through October, but we're looking at a long road in November. We're not coming back for a while after that. That's the way the gods of the NFL have, made it for us. So let's have a statement win. Yes, the win is the most important no matter what the score is. But I think a lot of us out there are ready to see this offense in particular and the defense as well make a statement. We got somebody on saying, I wish I could say beer in hand. I'm begging. Yeah, it's coffee time right now. But yeah. Hey, tonight, it's Thursday night. There's some football coming on for you guys. I hope you're excited about that. It's a much better game than last. Man, that freaking Miami Dolphins versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll watch football just for football's sake, but that had to be about the least interesting game for me last week when we were on a bye. You know, if it could have been maybe an NFC North, one of their matchups against the NFC East, that would have been awesome. It helped the bye week go by faster, but they did not help us out in that regard. The gods of NFL are intent on breaking us down right now, and they will not be successful. All right, guys, what else do we have here? I just took a few notes. It's a little bit discombobulated because I just went through and jotted a few things down. Yeah, continue to work the middle of the field. And I did want to say, man, I'm really down. We've got Jared Cook on the injury report, and so he will not be playing. But Richard Rodgers is capable. He's no Jared Cook in the physicals, but he's capable. But Justin Perillo, like I said, this guy, every single time he gets on the field, he seems to just do something right. He reminds me, here's one for you guys, and he doesn't get anywhere near the snaps, I don't think. But Justin Perillo, maybe you'll hate on me for saying this, he reminds me of John Kuhn. Every time he gets on the field, you see him on some crossing route. Nobody seems to care about the guy or something. I don't know what it is. He makes a play. He makes one important play, and it's like he only gets 3 snaps a game or 2 snaps a game. Justin Perillo is starting to remind me of John Kuhn in that sense, that he just, every time he gets on the field, something good happens. So you can heart me or hate me. Ooh, that's a great bit we're going to do. I'm going to do heart me or hate me. I like that, where you hit the heart button or you hit the angry face. I see an angry face coming. Some people could be, kind of ticked off if I make, the comparison to Kuhn. His name doesn't come off the tongue nearly as neat, and he certainly aren't going to be hearing any chants based on it. But he's reminding me of Kuhn in the sense that, man, when you put him out on the field, every time we do, he makes a play. And I've been watching this, by the way. And it's not just in the preseason. This is when we put him on the field in the season. That Detroit game last year, it wasn't just Richard Rodgers at the end of the game. So anyway, and this, he was doing it before we had Jared Cook on the team. So, all right, so interesting. All right, that's the scouting report. That's what I've got. I do think this is a prove-it game. Of course, we saw the Giants could only score 10 points against the Vikings' vaunted defense right now. But the Vikings scored 24. They got out of the gate fast start, right? The Packers have the opportunity, I think, in this game to finally, like they did, and we know they can every game, hit that 30-point mark. That 30-point mark to me is really, with the personnel that we're putting on the field right now, almost should be where we're kind of averaging. Then the question becomes, how many do we think the Giants, not Detroit, should score against us, right? And it's tomorrow's Prediction Friday, right? So I'll be distilling this down and making my call. But what I really want to focus on right now is if we can let's say we keep the Giants in that 10 or 14 point rate. Maybe they score a couple touchdowns on us, but our offense comes on strong in this game. Would you not think that will bode well for the Green Bay Packers? Packer fans, We are going to be watching this Vikings team. We're going to be talking about the Vikings all year the way it looks. Will we not find ourselves on Monday, if we can have a dominant win against the Giants, find ourselves on Monday comparing ourselves once again in the NFC North to the Vikings and saying, come and get us, Vikings. You got to come to our house next. Ain't going to be no freaking horn for you. You ain't going to have the noise this time. You barely beat us last time. Look what we did to the Giants. We are going to take you down. Are you not going to be thinking that to some extent with a lot of football still left to play before December? But with Eddie Lacy, December at Lambeau, and a team hopefully getting healthy, yeah, that's my mic drop for the day. Because if we could have a marquee win right now against a team that just got done playing our NFC North rivals, I think it's going to say something for us with that game coming back against the Vikings late in the season, week 16. So, I guess that'll be my mic drop for the day. I get to do a mic drop once in a while. I think it's important. I do think it's important at this stage. Because again, it gives us confidence moving forward with this home stretch that we've got. Is there a Vikings troll on? Hey guys, I thought of this. If there's a troll on, jump on. You guys can either take care of it yourself, but if you just throw up his name and say the troll is and put his name. The one concern I had yesterday is that somebody would make a sarcastic comment and I would accidentally ban an actual Packer fan who was just like making a sarcastic comment or something. So I am more than happy to knock off any trolls you want me to out there. I don't do it all the time because I kind of like you guys to just let them have it. You can ask them all the hard questions on here, especially if they're a Vikings fan. It would start with, how many championships do you have? Hey, troll, I got a question for you. How many world championships do the Minnesota Vikings have? Should I say it slower? Should I enunciate more? Just so you have a comparison, since I don't see you getting on here with any number, it's when you look on the keypad in the number section, it'll be all the way to the left. It's the next one to the left of the number 1. It looks like an O, but it's not an O. Okay? Sean is helping you out. Thanks, Sean. He might not know. He just might not know. It's okay. Sean is helping you out, and it's not an O. It's a little longer on the sides than an O, and sometimes it has a slash through it to show the difference. It's a 0. It's really not a number. It's just a placeholder. So the Vikings are really not a team. You're just a placeholder. Call on your NFC North title all you want, because, by the way, you couldn't even get past the first round of the playoffs because you can't kick a field goal when it matters. Now, since I asked you the question, how many championships do the Vikings have? I'm going to tell you how many championships the Green Bay Packers have. Where are you? I don't see you saying anything out there. Suddenly you have nothing to say. Do they have backpedaling trolls? Because I'll put one in my yard right now, and I'll put your name on it. The Vikings have 0. The Packers have 13. Otherwise known as a baker's dozen, because bakers make good things, and a baker's dozen is even more of a good thing than anyone else has. The Packers have 13 championships. You have 0. What do you have to say? Where are you? Man, I think I'm gonna call a manufacturing company and see if they can make for me a backpedaling troll, a backpedaling garden troll that has like feet that when the wind blows, they pedal backwards. And I'll put your name on it, boy. Don't make me give you the mic drop. All right. Guys, we are the Pack. This is Titletown. This is Titletown. Titletown is nowhere else than Green Bay, Wisconsin, where the Green Bay Packers reside. Packers need to get it done, of course. We're still 1 game behind. Well, actually 2 games behind until we clean up the Giants and send them back to New York on Sunday night. We've got to get it done. We need a statement game, and I think this is a good one to do it because you're looking at a team that is kind of on its heels to some extent. They were having difficulty getting a running back out on the field. But they have a fantastic. You can't argue. Eli Manning has got 2 rings, and the way that he got them is exceptional. Now, their defense is not exactly the same as it's been in the past, obviously. They don't flow to the ball nearly as well. It was a lackluster performance in that regard. They really don't flow to the ball very well. This bodes well for Eddie Lacy and the Packers running game. But the Packers need to make a point right now. And it's time. Sunday night's the time. There are no excuses. You had a bye week. You had extra time to prepare. You had extra time to get healthy. You're getting some defensive players back. Yes, we have no Jared Cook, but it's an important game. And with that said, of course, we have to talk about the injury report today. I just pulled it up. So what I want to do is just kind of go through it, right? So let's talk about the Giants and their injury woes right now. They have a fairly long list, but so do we, to be quite honest. The Giants, the DNPs did not participate, are Eli Apple, cornerback, so he's got a hamstring. That's going to be interesting to see if he can go, and those hamstring issues tend to be lingering. These hamstring issues and groin issues now are a kind of issue where players tend to be held out of games because if you don't let them come back 100%, you tend to aggravate that injury. Nat Berhe out with a concussion, Larry Donald a concussion as well, so I'm assuming they're in protocol. It doesn't really say anything more than that. Marshall Newhouse has a calf. Darian Thompson, the safety there, with a foot issue. None of those participated in practice. Limited was Rashad Jennings, the running back. He's got a thumb issue, which, for a running back can be an issue. DRC, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, the cornerback, had a groin issue. And again, that's one of those issues that now in today's NFL, oftentimes coaches want to be conservative with that and make sure you get fully healthy before they send you back out onto the field. Olivier Vernon, the defensive end for the Giants, was a full participant. He had a wrist issue. And so, it looks like there's some significant injuries there. And this goes to, I think, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers wide receiver corps. If we can establish a run game early, I think that this wide receiver corps has an opportunity. Of course, I've said it in the past, and they've kind of proved me wrong to some extent. But I think they have an opportunity to really do some good things. That's all I'll say because, frankly, I'm on a little bit of a wait-and-see pattern right now. All right, so did not participate, of course, for the Packers, Jared Cook, Sam Shields. All right, but that's the only 2. So we know Sam Shields is in the protocol, and we know that Jared Cook, Mike McCarthy said it's probably going to take a couple weeks after the bye week coming back before Jared Cook is available, but it doesn't sound like surgery is on the horizon. And so what they're going to do is they're going to be conservative with him and make sure he's okay before they send him back out on the field. And I'm perfectly fine with this. I have a lot of confidence in Richard Rodgers. He's not quite, I hate to say it, he's not quite as much of a playmaker. My goodness, he made the best play in the entire season that was rated the best play of the year last year. So we're going to give him that. And we know that the guy doesn't do anything. He doesn't do a lot of talking. He just goes out on the field and tries to make plays. So I have a lot of confidence in Richard Rodgers. I think he can do some good things. And like I said about Justin Perillo, every time he gets out on the field, he tends to make one important play. And that may be all we need this time around. So those guys are probably, they're out as far as I'm concerned. There's no reason to think either one of those guys is going to be on the field at this point. Clay Matthews was limited. LaTroy Guion was limited. Demarius Randall was also limited. He has a groin thing going on. This is one of those that I feel a little bit on the fence with him. We are expecting Clay Matthews to play, and we are expecting LaTroy Guion to play right now. Of course, that can change, but limited participant just means they're letting them come back fully healthy, but I do expect both of those guys to play. The one I'm actually a little bit concerned about is Demarius Randall because he has as much to prove right now as anybody else on the field. Now, here's the crux of the problem. Is you put him out on the field early, and if he's still a little bit tweaked, he's going to be slowed. If he's slowed, he's going to have another bad game. Now it has a confidence. There's a domino effect to this. That's why I hope that he is 100%. I want him to have the chance to go out and prove a lot of the doubters wrong, because I do think he's going to bounce back. And I think he could have a very good game. Again, if we get Morgan Burnett back, this is good news. And Morgan Burnett was a full participant. So if we get Morgan Burnett back, that's a very important. I said he's the guy we need back, even more so than Sam Shields. The quarterback of that defense back there. Dayton Jones was a full participant, and Aaron Ripkowski, guess what, was a full participant. I was worried about him. And somebody asked, whoever it was, asked about Ripkowski earlier on. Full participant. I had heard nothing, and with a back injury, you know, as a Packer fan, you guys know this. You hear back injury for a Packer fan or neck injury for a Packer fan, and now you know Ted Thompson does not touch these guys. They become, it's almost like they have leprosy if you are a Green Bay Packer. And, you know, had the diagnosis been bad, you know, the Green Bay Packers probably would not have. And then you saw him sign a fullback to the practice squad. So I was a little bit concerned. Apparently that concern has been assuaged at this point. So we will think that Ripkowski will get a chance to get on the field. And keep in mind, we talked about this in the second half of the game against the Detroit Lions. One of the reasons our offense was a little bit hampered was because, you know, Mike McCarthy was loving that 22 package. 2 tailbacks, 2 tight ends on the field. And guess what? That personnel grouping is coming back. So that's good news moving forward. And great to hear. And obviously we all said, I know you guys, I think we did a heart for Aaron Ripkowski just to say we're just happy the kid's healthy, because he's got a high ceiling. He's got a lot of great play in front of him as far as I'm concerned. Very happy that was not a serious injury. So, and we saw what happened to Tony Romo. So very happy that Ripkowski was a full participant, and that is the injury report for the day, guys. Well, I want to finish up the day. There's one person I want to give a shout out to. It's very important. Please don't leave just yet, okay? Yesterday, I mentioned that with the Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October in the NFL in particular, the players are wearing pink, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll see that on the Sunday night game. A lot of Packer fans showed a ton of support for that. I mentioned you can go to Packers.com and you can click on a post there. And what they'll do is you can download a little card that says, I'm a survivor. Take a picture of yourself, smile, all healthy and whatnot. And then you can upload it to their site. And I think that's an awesome thing. But I mentioned it yesterday, and as I was talking about it, Kelsey Rose got on, and Kelsey, I didn't see that name come across, and she said survivor here, and there was her name, and I didn't see it as it came across. I caught it later as I was going through the comments. So Kelsey Rose, I wanted to give a huge shout out for to you right now. Congratulations on beating down cancer. Very, very happy for you, your family, all your loved ones. You are sticking around, baby, and congratulations. Many, many, many healthy, happy years to you in the future. Just wanted to make sure, and yeah, everybody heart Kelsey right now as a cancer survivor, breast cancer survivor out there. Got on yesterday. I know there are more of you out there. I don't catch all of them. I missed this one, but to all of you cancer survivors, we want to give a huge heart, huge shout out. Cancer touches all of us, and my best friend was lost to cancer. A man who fought for his country in the armed forces in the Navy and contracted bone cancer on a sub that did not have proper shielding and was irradiated, and we lost him. So it touches all of us. And Kelsey Rose, big time shout out to you, the biggest I can give. Very, very happy to hear from you. Good to hear from a cancer survivor. All right, well, I can't think of a better way to end the show than that. Guys, tonight we got the Cards versus the 49ers, so there is some football for you to watch. I hope you enjoy it. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll be doing Prediction Friday, so get your predictions ready. I gotta write it on the board, and you gotta put it on the screen. Because then Monday morning we put a special space in the comment line for those who got the prediction within 6 points. So have a fun night. Enjoy football tonight. I hope you have a great Friday tomorrow. Have a great day. Go Pack. Hey, get the ring.